I'm out for a camp in the woods tonight to test out some new kits. I've got a new tent, a new sleep mat, and this Columbia sun hoodie with the built-in Squid Game mask. As usual, I'm wandering around trying to settle on a place to put the tent. I've come out straight from work, so the sun's on its way down. It'll be 3 or 4 hours before it fully goes down, but I'm trying to find somewhere where I can film and you can still see what I'm doing. I think I'll probably pitch in this bit here. I've been here before. It's a permission spot, but it's ideal for testing out new kit and knowing that I can set up whenever I want and not have the fear of being moved on. The flies have found me again, so I'm just getting smidged up and hopefully that'll keep them at bay. As a last resort, I'll put the Squid Game mask back on. Spoke too soon. I don't know if you can see the flies on camera, but I'm going to leave the mask on for a bit while I get the tent out. Hopefully these flies will either get bored at some point or get blown away or go to bed or whatever flies do. It's like one of them has found me and then gone to get all of his mates. The tent I've got is this TFS Stars 2. It's not a 4-season tent, but it has got a trick up its sleeve that means you might be able to use it all year round. I got it in a nice dark green colour, but you can get it in like a gold khaki colour and a blue grey as well. It's one of those where you can leave the footprint attached to it because it just attaches to the corners rather than being pegged out separately. So I've already got the footprint on from when I checked this tent over at home. It comes with 8.5mm aluminium poles. I think with the footprint attached, it's just over 2 kilograms for the whole pack. Comes with a repair sleeve as well for the poles, which hopefully you'll never need. And then the pegs it comes with are these pretty standard looking TFS branded pegs. They're like a Y shape, and then there's a little cutout on the side. As usual, I've bought my Big Sky pegs, which I'm going to use because they're the ones that I always use. Can taste smidge now. So for pitching, we've got 2 big poles that go corner to corner through pole sleeves, and then this smaller pole just goes across the top. There's a little plastic cup on each side and a clip, so that gives you the structure, and it's just a case of pegging it out. But before I peg it out, I've just flipped it over to show you this footprint. So I've left it permanently attached, and you can see in the corner here it's just on a little bit of bungee and a toggle. So there's one toggle from the tent inner that goes through that loop, and then the toggle from the footprint goes through there as well, and it's just doubled up on each corner. I did get the footprint with the tent as well. It wasn't an extra 70 quid just for that. You have got on the corners these adjustment ribbons as well, so if you pull that tight it lowers the tent to the floor, but it's still really warm at the minute, so I'm going to leave that up to get a little bit of extra airflow through the tent. Here it is. It's a nice looking tent in this green colour. I've pegged it out, but the door on the back isn't as tight as I'd like because I'm quite close to this tree, and the peg was just hitting a tree root, so I've given up on that side. I only need 1 door anyway, but you do have the option of 2 doors and 2 vestibules. There's pegging points in the middle of each side as well, which I haven't used because it doesn't look like it needs them, and I haven't put the guy lines out just to annoy you guys in the comments. We have got a vent on each side as well, and I'm just checking, yep, there is mesh in there, so I'm okay to open those without worrying about the flies getting in. You'll see in a minute that the tent has got a kind of half mesh inner, so it's not a true 4-season tent, but this is the secret weapon. I don't know if it's a genius idea or a gimmick yet. They call this an inner shell, and it's basically thermal pants for your tent. It's another layer of solid fabric that somehow sits between the outer and inner of the tent, I think. So it's a solid piece that fills in all the mesh on the inner. So you've got zips on each side for the doors still. So once this is attached, you can still use it as you would without it. So I'm sure once it's in there, it makes it a bit warmer, but I don't need it to be any warmer tonight. I just wanted to show you that that is a thing that this tent comes with, and I will try it out properly on a night where it's a bit colder and I can try it with and without and do a bit of a comparison and see what difference that actually makes. The new sleep mat I've got's got a bit of a weird feature as well, and it's another one where I don't know if it's a genius idea or a bit of a gimmick. So I'm going to get that out now and have a look at it before I put all my stuff in the tent, because once I'm in there with all these flies, I don't really want to be getting in and out all night, at least until they've all buggered off anyway. Before I forget, the tent is from Camper Lists, and it's £239 if you want it with this inner shell thingy, or if you don't, it's £214, so you're saving 25 quid if you don't want this thing for colder weather camping. We'll have a proper look inside in a minute and then see how I get on in it tonight. This is the sleep mat. It's from Flextail, who everybody knows from their pumps, sleep mats and pillows and all that kind of stuff. This is a 3R mat. They do have a 9.5R version of this, which is just mental. But what this comes with is its own little pump that actually fits inside the mat. I haven't looked at this yet, so you can come along and have a look at it with me. But I've got the large rectangular sized mat, and all I've done so far is make sure that this is charged up before I come out. This whole thing with the pump weighs 640 grams, and the pump, once fully charged, will run for 16 minutes, but I don't know yet how long it takes to pump the mat up. It's this lovely yellow colour, so the flies are going to love this. You do get a repair patch as well, which hopefully you'll never need. And on the mat itself, you've got a chamber here that the pump goes into, and then you've still got the backup valve there. If your pump does run out of battery, you're not relying on it. So as far as I understand it, that just slots in like so, and then we flick that switch to turn it on. I've got the old Wide Sea sleeping bag tonight as well. It is a down bag, but it's only 300 grams. I think it's got about 3 feathers in it, so we'll see if I do get cold. It's worth saying as well that on this tent you can open and pin back the doors on both sides. So I've obviously got this one open here. I have got a toggle on this side to pull that one back as well, but I'm trying to reduce the number of flies that get stuck in this overhead bit if I can. And it's the same on the other side. You can pin back both doors to either give you some really good airflow through the tent to cool it down, or if you are somewhere nice, admire the views. I'm going to attempt to get in the tent without bringing any flies in with me. Just trap my legs in the door for now. The only other thing I've thrown in is my fleece, the traditional Berghaus fleece, and I've bought out my Nature Hike pillow because it's got this memory foam coating on it, and I've only tried it once. I don't feel like I've really given it much of a chance, so we'll try that tonight. The mat pumped up in, like, I'd say the same amount of time it takes with the bigger pumps. Just a couple of minutes, if that. You can turn that little pump around as well and use it to deflate the mat, so I'll try that in the morning. For now, I'm just going to try and cool down a little bit because I've had that sun hoodie on since I got here. It's 24 degrees today, and while the material's designed to keep you cool, it's supposed to keep you cool while you're hiking in a bit of a breeze, I think, not while you're putting a tent up and making a mediocre YouTube video. There's only a couple of flies got in so far. But while I'm in here, I'll just show you what's inside. So we've got a hanging point there for a lantern. You can get through this little zip here to the vents from inside the tent. So there's a zip on the inner and a zip on the outer. Should open that really. So we've got a vent on both sides. Then in the corners, these little triangle pockets. There's one in each corner, just for phones or hats or whatever you want to shove in there. Vestibule size, I haven't measured it, but there's plenty of space there for storage and for cooking. And you get the same vestibule on both sides as well. I've bought a meal to cook later, so we'll give it a try in a bit. Shall we have a look at my hat here? What are you saying? Just looking to see if there's any temperatures listed on this sleeping bag. I think I only paid about 36 quid for this a long time ago. So we've got some listed here, look. It says comfort 11, transition 6 and risk -8. And it's a WDS 300 duck down 800 full power from Wide Sea Outdoors. It's meant to be about 12 degrees tonight, I think. So if that's the case and it does stay warm in the tent, I'll probably just open this up and use it more like a quilt or a blanket. The sleep mat that I'm on as well is, I think, £115 with the pump and everything that I've shown you. And if you use daily15 as a discount code, you'll get 15% off. And that's the same for this mat and anything from Flextail. So if you want to look at the 9.5R or you want a pump or you want anything from Flextail, you can use daily15 for 15% off. Plenty of height in the tent. I'm on the mat. I'm 5'10" and a squidge. And if my hair was a little bit longer, it'd probably be touching, but I'm good. Plenty of space. As with most two-person tents, it's not really big enough for two people, I wouldn't say, but there's plenty of space in here for me and all my gear, especially as I've got my sleep mat on a bit of a diagonal to give me extra headroom in those corners. There's more and more flies coming in here now, so I think I'm going to close that door down for a little bit, bring my pack in, just finish my drink and chill for a little bit. I always bring my pack and as much gear as I can into the tent. I know some people just like to store things in the vestibule, but I don't know. Part of me thinks that there's camping gear ninjas out there just waiting to swoop into people's porches and take stuff. Just trying to preempt some of the questions I'm going to get about this tent. So the outer door is just one zip, it's not double zipped, which I know is a downer these days. The inner doors are double zipped and it comes fully taped. The seams are all taped, so there's no seam sealing or anything like that to do, which people always ask about. And then the real tent folk will want to know how much condensation there is in the morning, even though it's different every night of the year and in every location. One thing I don't really get, and you see it in a lot of tents, is this seam right down the middle of the floor. Now I know why that is. It's because the width of material that people make is a standard width, and that's not wide enough to cover the whole floor of the tent. It's the same in the Van Gogh Nexus and loads of other tents that I've seen. But rather than having to do that, why don't people just make wider material? I don't get it. Getting hungry now, so I'm gonna have a think about getting some food on. I've got a Adventure Food pasta bolognese. I've not tried this one before. It's a typical chuck some hot water in it, leave it for 8 minutes type job. I am thinking though I might boil my water up inside the tent, and I wouldn't recommend that anybody does this, but just because there's so many flies out there and for some reason they're attracted to the camera. Every time I turn the camera on, they're trying to buzz around it to get on it. I don't know if they're all influencers trying to get on my video or what, but they definitely want some screen time. Got the BRS stove, got my little rubber oven gloves and a Lixada 550 pot. I'm still using this little thick canvas bowl to keep all my little bits together as well. It's really useful when you're doing stuff like this, like cooking, because you've got all these little bits that you can't really afford to lose. So it just gives you somewhere just to throw them, and it was only a couple of quid I think, and it packs down flat, so I just bring it every time now. I have got both of the vents in the roof open and the big door open as well, so I am not going to gas myself. So this is 370ml in this one, and it's got a oxygen absorber in it that we need to take out before we eat it. So I'll just give that a good stir, seal it up and leave it to do its thing. It says 8 minutes on it, but I normally leave them a lot longer than what it says. Look at all these coming for the food now. I've had quite a few pasta bolognese meals. This is like quite thick pasta with obviously bolognese sauce and a few peas in it. Tastes the same as a 90p or 99p pasta pot. I did try on my last camp with Ben's Hikes and Camps, aka Londoner Outdoors, the Pro version of this tent, the Stars 2 Pro, and that comes with a solid inner that's got like double doors on it, so you can have mesh doors or solid doors. You just unzip one layer if you want the mesh. I think I actually prefer this non-Pro version to that so far. It just feels a lot more airy inside, a lot more spacious. That Pro felt quite claustrophobic, and this definitely feels bigger. Whether it is or not, I don't know. It's the same design. You get DAC poles with the Pro version and DAC pegs, so it is a little bit lighter. Just looking at this inner, and it looks like that inner shell might actually come inside the inner, because there's little loops on the inside of here. There's one there, one there. There's one in that corner, one there, and then one down there, so down to the bottom of the mesh. So it looks like that inner shell that I showed you earlier might actually go on the inside of this and cover the roof and everything down to here, where the inner turns solid anyway. I'd be interested to know what you think to the features on this new gear that I'm trying out. So things like that inner shell, like the built-in pump in this Flextail sleep mat, like the built-in, whatever you call it, bug net on that hoodie. It seems that a lot of companies in the outdoor gear space are trying to innovate at the minute by including loads and loads of extra features in their gear. And I'm still undecided as to whether that's a good thing or not. I think sometimes too much can be too much. Sometimes it's better to keep things simple and keep them, I guess, to a certain price point. Just focus on the quality and the price. Yeah, let me know what you think and where you think the cutoff is for this sort of thing. I was joking the other day saying that it won't be long before we can get a tent with a built-in sleeping bag that's got a built-in down jacket that's got sporks in the sleeve, and you only need to buy that and you've got pretty much everything you need for a camp. Maybe that is the future. Let's go and check the fly situation. Hopefully they've gone now, other than the 2 or 3 in my tent. They seem to be stuck on this side, so I'm going to see if I can get them out. I think it's quite a nice feature how you can open both of those doors on both sides, and it gives you the option to switch which door you've got open if the wind direction changes as well. Biggest question is, are these YKK zips? Can't see anything on them to say that they are. They do feel good though, but if it's not YKK, is it even a zip? The stitching and the quality on the tent looks really good as well. We've got reinforced patches where the poles cross over. One thing might be, over time this cross pole could wear through that, but because it's reinforced, hopefully that'll take a long time. I think the guy lines are Dyneema as well on the tent, so we've got one in each corner. You could, if you wanted to, attach more on this point here, and as I said earlier, there's an extra pegging point halfway down the end as well. TFS tents are quite a new brand to the UK market, but they've been around a long time. It's the same company that makes pre-tents. You've got the pre-tents Light Rock and the pre-tents Soloists that are really popular amongst sort of ultralight legends. So they know what they're doing. There's quite a few different tents in the range already as well. On first impressions, it just seems like a really well thought out tent. Now the Pro version I tried was just under £300 I think, which, as I said on my camp with it, felt like just a bit too much for that kind of thing. This one at £214 or £239 if you want that inner shell thing, I think is priced about right. The closest thing I can think of design wise to this is the 3FUL Gear Tie G2. That's pretty much the same sort of design structure wise, but it's got pole clips all the way through it instead of these sleeves. If I'm honest, I do prefer the pole clips. I just find them easier to pitch. But this does feel like a much better quality tent than the Taiji tent. I don't want to speak too soon, but I think the flies have gone and buggered off. And it looks like I've got rid of all of the ones that I had inside the tent as well, just by opening those doors up for a couple of minutes. It's just gone 9:30, so it's time for a quick perimeter check with the night vision goggles. All clear? I'll see you in the morning. Morning glampers. I slept okay, stayed pretty warm on this mat, and even with that little flimsy sleeping bag, I did put my fleece on during the night because my arms were starting to get cold. It dropped to 12 degrees, and it's still 12 degrees now. But when I woke up, I did feel a little bit bad, so I've put the inner shell up inside the tent just to show you. It only took a couple of minutes to fit it. This is what it looks like. So it's still got the lantern hook in the middle, but those hooks that I showed you connect all the way down each corner. And it does go a little bit lower than the solid piece on the inner, so that you'll see there that the solid material finishes there, and then this goes down about halfway across that, so it gives you some good coverage. You've got a little zip on each side, which I can't open with one hand, I don't think. Maybe a hand and a foot. And that just takes you out to the existing door. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4 clips on each side. And if you want, you can leave this connected to the tent permanently. The sleep mat was comfortable, didn't deflate at all and stayed up all night. It's 7 centimeters thick, so you do get some good clearance from the ground. The pattern on it's kind of halfway between fully vertical baffles and the sort of dimple finish that I've got on my light tour mat. So it's got these little dimples across it, but the main pattern is the baffles. So mats like the X-Pads, where you have just got those big thick vertical baffles, I don't find them that comfortable. This one was okay. I don't think the Nature Hike pillow needs another outing though. It's just not thick enough. Not for me anyway. As a side sleeper, I need that depth in a pillow to raise my head up. I think I just need to start bringing 2 pillows out on my camps. I can't feel any condensation inside the tent at all, which is quite surprising, even though it's been a dry night and it's pretty dry at the minute. Usually when you're in the woods and you're breathing all night inside a tent, there is some sort of condensation, but there's nothing at all on this. I'm packing this sleep mat away with the pump separate. I'm just going to put that in the top, just so that I can get to it easier when I need to charge it. The downside is it probably means that I'll lose that at some point, so I need to work out the best way of doing this really. But for storage, pump's just in the top there, then the mat rolls up nicely into this little carry case. After a first initial test, I do really like this tent. If you're after a well-made all-rounder, this one's definitely worth a look.